Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Mizamani G. It's time to review the latest horror movie. Yes, this is another horror movie from Zach Kriegler. I think I pronounced his name right. Who gave us Barbarians? This is his latest film. This one is called Weapons. Yes.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Mizamani G. Now, Weapons is a 2025 American mystery horror film that was written and directed by Zach Kriegler. Now, the film stars Josh Brolin, Julia Gardner, Alden Ehrenreich, Austin Abrams, Gary Christopher, Benedict Wong, and Amy Magdalene. Now, in this film, when all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanishes on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. Now, horror fans, unless you've been living under a rock or you don't pay attention to movie advertisements or trailers, I'm sure everyone knows about Zach Kriegler's latest film, Weapons. I mean, the plot of the movie is told by a narrator that at 2:17 a.m., 17 children from one class got up, walked out of their houses, and ran away to some unknown location, never to be seen again. Oh my God. Now, in one poster I've seen, it said that this is the best horror movie of the year, which for me is not a good sign. That's because normally when I see that tagline for a horror film, it always means to me that despite how good the horror movie might be, it's just not going to be the best horror film of that year. It seems to me, when it comes to my experience when watching horror films, if you're going to put that tagline in there, I know you're trying to best to sell the film and you want fans such as horror fans like myself to go see it. But it seems like every time when I see that tagline, it's always it's good, it's fair, or it's a terrible horror film, but it's never ever the best horror film of that year. Now let's see if American writer-director Zach Kriegler, who gave us a very good horror film in 2022, Barbarian, can repeat that with this latest film that he wrote and directed called Weapons. Now, this takes place in a small town in Maybrook, Pennsylvania. 17 children from the same class left their homes and at the same time and vanished. They just disappeared. They just had this weird way they were running, where they were running to somewhere, but they're gone. No one can seem to find them. Now, their teacher, Justin Grady, arrives the next morning and sees that only one student, Alex Lilly, is present, which drives the people in the town crazy and mad. They're pissed off. I mean, what happened to the children? Why did this only happen in Miss Grady's class? Why was Alex Lilly not taken? These are the questions everyone in town is asking, and throughout the movie, we, the audience, will find out how and why. I mean, now, when looking at this premise, it seems like it's something that we've seen before in other horror films like this one, but Kriegler puts a different spin on this one. And the Kriegler tells his story from the perspective of several characters in this film, similar to the way Quentin Tarantino did in his 1994 film Pulp Fiction. Now, we get to see what is happening from one character's perspective, while at the same time, other events are taking place from another character's perspective, and sometimes they mingle into the same or a different character in the film, and eventually all will eventually come together. I mean, for example, we see what's happening to Justine, and we see how she tries to cope with the events that are happening by meeting up with her ex-boyfriend, Paul. And then we get to see what happens from Paul's perspective with his actions, not with Justine, but with a drug addict named James. And then eventually we get to see from James' perspective what his interactions are when it comes to Paul and interactions with other people in the film. Now, this is a decent concept, and Kriegler's direction and tight script keeps the audience engaged with some very frightening scenes and tense moments. I think that's one of the reasons why this film works so much is because his tight script and how he directs his scenes very well. Because you can get lost when you have all these characters mingling in with each other. But he does a great job in allowing some of the stuff that plays in to see what's happening. There's one event that takes place where from Josh Brolin's Alice character's perspective, and eventually we get to see Justine appear, and then we get to see another character appear, and he's acting crazy. I won't reveal what that is, but then eventually we get to see that character, and we find out how that happens. It's an interesting concept, but unless you have a great script, great acting, and great direction, this will not work. Where Kriegler does a fantastic job here. And it should be no surprise on how well the film is, since it's a similar concept Kriegler did in Barbarian, but he just did it with a smaller cast. Speaking of the cast, everyone is great in their roles, especially Josh Brolin as Archer and Julia Gardner as Justine. I mean, Brolin plays Archer as a father of one of the missing children. He feels very guilty for not protecting his son and believes the police are not doing enough. While Gardner plays Justine as a woman who will do anything to prove her innocence, she has become the town pariah. Unfortunately, at the same time, she drowns her sorrows by drinking and then having sex with Paul. Not a good way to do it, but you can understand the reason why she does what she does. Now, it's the third act that really drives the film home because all the interacting uh, characters' perspective, they finally mingle up and they conclude in the third act when the truth of what happened to the children is revealed and the events that take place afterwards. Now, I'm sure some people will feel it's a bit cliche when we find out what caused the children to act this way. But for me, I still enjoyed it, mainly due because of the performances of the cast and the work Kriegler and his team have done with this particular film. Really, really did enjoy this film. So once again, Kriegler has done a great job with this horror film as we get some decent acting, some very intense scenes and moments, along with some frightening moments and a couple of good jump scares. It's not dominated by this, but not it doesn't dominate the film with jump scares, but in a couple of scenes we do get some good jump scares. Now, is this the best horror film of the year? Well, for me, as far as this film goes, it's not as good as Sinners was, but I'll say this is the second best horror of the second best horror film of the year so far. We still got a long way to go, but so far, Sinners is still the best horror film of the year. But I'm going to give Weapons 4 out of the Miser's 5 bloody gold coins. Like I said before, I really did enjoy this film. That's because of how Kriegler sets the film up. It's a basic premise that we've seen before, but I like how he narrates the story with different characters mingling with each other. We get a great reveal, not a great reveal, but a typical reveal about what caused the children to act this way. But I still enjoy it because of the performances, some nice couple of jump scares, and the intense moments, and how he keeps everyone engaged with this mystery aspect about what happened to the kids. So, like I said before, 4 out of the Miser's 5 bloody gold coins. So there you have it, horror fans. That is my video and review of Weapons. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and sure really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Have you seen Weapons? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Do you think this is the best horror film of the year? Do you think it's better than Sinners? Leave your comments and in comment section below and tell you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. That way, you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Money G, and always remember that horror rules. And I see you in my next video. Guys, stay safe out there.